Welcome. Today we're going to tell a story about innovation in a space you might not even think about that often, the job site. It's a story about a simple, ancient tool that's been a source of danger for, well, centuries, and the modern solution that finally changed the game for working high above the ground.
I mean, really think about that for a second. For any big project you can imagine, what if the simple act of just climbing up was the most dangerous part of the entire job? That one question, well, it pretty much frames the entire problem we're going to dive into today.
All right, so to really appreciate just how big a deal the solution is, we first have to get our heads around the problem. For generations, working at height meant you just had to accept some very real and often deadly risks. For literally decades, these were your only two options. You either had these massive scaffolding structures that took days and a whole crew to put up, just to be torn down again, or you had the simple ladder, wobbly, unstable, and a constant source of anxiety. This wasn't just a quirk, it was an accepted and frankly dangerous part of the job.
So what you had was this huge disconnect. The tools everyone was using were unstable and super slow, but modern projects, they demand speed, security, and absolute stability. This wasn't just a little gap in efficiency, we're talking about a massive chasm of risk.
And of course, that chasm came with some very real, very painful costs. We're not just talking about being inconvenient here. We're talking about serious injuries, projects falling weeks and weeks behind schedule, and budgets just spiraling completely out of control. Sticking to the old way wasn't just inefficient, it was expensive and dangerous.
Okay, so what happens when someone finally decides to build a bridge across that chasm? Well, you get a genuine game changer, a solution that completely rethinks the simple act of going up. Yeah, the era of just shrugging your shoulders and accepting those risks was officially over. A new piece of technology came along that didn't just improve on the ladder. For a lot of jobs, it made it completely obsolete. So meet the Mobile Electric Scissor Lift. The source material calls it an engineered productivity powerhouse. And honestly, that's the perfect description. It was designed from the ground up to do one thing: provide a stable, mobile, and versatile platform that solves every single one of the problems we just talked about. But how, exactly, does it solve those problems? That's the key question, right? Let's break down the anatomy of this machine and see what really makes it tick. First up, let's talk about height. A ladder is fixed. Scaffolding is a total pain to adjust, but these lifts, they offer this incredible, dynamic range of heights, from a handy 8 meters for simple maintenance, all the way up to 15 meters for major construction. You get the perfect reach for the right job every single time. And get this, it's also incredibly mobile. It can be towed just like a simple trailer to get it from one job to the next. But once it's on site, it's self-propelled. That means workers can literally drive it into the perfect position, saving hours, sometimes days of setup time. Now, the power system is where things get really clever. It uses electric power, so it's quiet and has zero emissions, which is perfect for indoor jobs or maybe in neighborhoods. But that's paired with a super powerful hydraulic system that makes sure the lift is always smooth, always stable, and always strong. It's the best of both worlds. And this part is absolutely critical. This isn't just a feature, it's a guarantee. CE approval means this equipment meets some of the absolute strictest safety and quality standards on the planet. It is quite literally certified peace of mind for every single person who steps onto that platform. So I want you to think back to that single, narrow rung on a ladder. Got that picture in your head? Okay, now look at this. A spacious, stable platform with plenty of room for multiple workers and all their tools. No more risky balancing acts, no more constant trips up and down. That is a massive boost for both safety and productivity. So yeah, all those features are super impressive on their own, but what's the bigger picture? What's the real long-term impact of making this kind of switch? Well, it's like this amazing domino effect. Better safety doesn't just prevent accidents, it boosts team morale and it lowers insurance costs. Higher productivity doesn't just mean finishing a project faster, it means you can take on more projects. It all connects back to a healthier, more profitable, and way more sustainable business in the long run. So really, when you boil it all down, it comes down to these 5 key areas. This isn't just a piece of equipment you buy. It's an investment in better safety, higher productivity, lower costs, greater sustainability, and total flexibility. It improves literally every critical part of a project. And that brings us right to our final thought. See, this story is about more than just a scissor lift. It's about recognizing when an old, accepted way of doing things just isn't good enough anymore.
It proves that true innovation isn't just about building higher, it's about building smarter. So the question I want to leave you with is this: what old way might be holding you